Hi, I'm sorry, my camera's not the best.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's gonna be that's gonna be on sound only anyway. So.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, so don't worry about it. So how you doing?
I'm doing all right, thank you.
That's great.
Thank you.
All right, so well, it doesn't happen all the time in the Polish Hockey League that we have top NHL prospects here. So that's a real honor to meet you, sir. So,
thank you.
Enjoying your stay in Poland? I know you've always dreamt about it.
That's funny, yeah, but it's nice for me. I like to travel and I like to see new places, so I enjoy Europe quite a bit too. My wife is actually European as well, so.
Oh, nice. All right, so I'm not gonna. At least I'll try not to torment you with the questions that you've been so frequently asked so far. So. But I know I'm gonna fail at some point, so I'll just try to do my best. Okay, so
yeah, of course. No worries.
I'm not gonna ask you to compare NHL or AHL to Polish league because let's face it, that'll be bullshit. But I will ask you this: what is the weirdest thing that happens to you so far in Poland? Like something you didn't understand or something new, something uncommon for a Canadian?
That's a good question. I have to think about that for a second.
And you don't have to remember. You don't have to give me like one of those like NHL corporate speeches like everything's awesome and everyone's awesome. Or if I mean, I'm Polish. I know things can get real shitty real quick here, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, well, obviously it's been a bit of an adjustment, coming from even from North America, even the KHL over to Poland.
Mm-hmm.
Things are done a bit differently here, but. Because of all this quarantine and lockdown stuff, we haven't had a lot of opportunity to explore Poland. So, kind of the most stuff that I've noticed has just been at the rink, and I've been at the hockey rink and either at home or I haven't done done too much honestly. So, I really don't have a good answer for that because I've just been getting used to it here, and I've only been here for about a month right now.
Yeah, the world's been pretty boring lately, huh?
Yeah, that's for sure. It's been pretty painful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When it comes to the Polish Hockey League, there has been a lot of criticism when, for example, Unii Oświęcim and a few other teams started to acquire a lot of ex-NHLers, ex-KHLers and stuff because, well, firstly they said that you guys are simply taking jobs away from Polish guys, and second, most of you guys are not really in 100% shape, to put it bluntly. So, could you address that? What do you think about those voices?
I've definitely in the 4 weeks I've been here, I've seen a bit of that. I've seen a little bit of separation between the import guys that come here and then the Polish players, which I honestly didn't really expect. I expected to come here and be part of a group and a team that was gonna, embrace pretty good hockey players coming to their clubs. So.
Mm-hmm.
All I have to say to that is if they wanted to come to North America, they can too, but they're playing here and, this is our job. I've traveled around the world to make a living. So, to me, it doesn't matter where I go. I just want to be part of the group and I expect them to treat me with the same respect that I treat them,
Mm-hmm. Of course. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start the beginning. You started your career at the WHL, and you were a big part of Vancouver Giants, right?
Yeah.
So, and you said that in one of interviews, I remember you said that you succeeded and you had so much success with the Giants, partially because the staff and the coaches treated the players right. And what exactly do you mean by that?
I've played with a lot of guys in the Western Hockey League, after the Western Hockey League, and different leagues around the world. And it's funny when we talk about the junior days because some of those guys have been on different teams other than the Vancouver Giants, and I know for sure that the Vancouver Giants was one of the best organizations in the Western Hockey League. And the way they treated their players, they were very professional. They gave us some perks and nice little things to make our life a little easier. So Ron Toigo and the staff that they had there were just pretty sensational. Honestly, I have nothing but good things to say about them. They took really good care of their players.
Mm-hmm. Well, all right. That's nice to hear, especially that I think for the last couple of years we've heard a lot of bad stuff happening, right, in the locker room, for example, like in OHL and stuff. Like,
yeah,
sometimes players are treated in a real bad way.
Yeah, I understand that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and you are a legend of the Giants, and besides, I think right next to Evander Kane, if I remember that correctly. But okay, so you guys always say that when you're inducted, for example, in the Ring of Honor for your like junior team or whatever, you say like this is a big honor, this is awesome. I mean, I'm breathless, speechless, blah blah blah. But you don't have to relive your youth. I mean, Al Bundy style, right? I mean, you've been to the NHL, to KHL. You've been there all. You've been there. You've done it all. And does it really matter? Is it really important for a player with that much success to be inducted in in something that he played like 120 years ago?
I'm not that old, but. Yeah, it doesn't. No matter where you go, from the NHL to whatever league you're going to go, it's still a big honor to be, recognized as you had a very successful junior career. You're a big part of our organization, and it's kind of nice to just have that kind of like pat on the back that hey, you did a good job and you're here for us, and we supported you, and we're happy that you did so well under us. And I think it's nice. I actually wasn't even able to go to my induction ceremony, so I didn't even get to go. But my family went on my behalf. But it was still a really nice honor, and I'm just proud of what I was able to accomplish in junior.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so if, for example, if they offered you a coaching job at the Giants, would you take it?
You know what? I'm not sure. I'm still playing hockey, so. I haven't really thought about that, honestly.
Do you see yourself as a coach material? Like, I don't know, in the future. I know you're like 34 right now.
Yeah.
So I know. Sadly, I mean, there's gonna be a time when you have to hang him up, and
yeah, of course.
After that, do you see yourself coaching? Or not really?
As of right now, I would say no, but that is a road that we can possibly go down if I need to in the future. But as of right now, I've played quite a bit of hockey. It's been most of my life, and I want to have a little break after, of course, like have some time for myself, have some time for my family.
Sure, of course. All right, so let's move on to Columbus. You were drafted number 6, if I remember correctly, right? Yeah, and then right after that, you suffered a broken sternum, and I know you've probably heard that like a million times already, but and you were hit by Roman Hamrlik, and I know the guy could really hit. I mean, that guy could hit, but how the hell did it happen? Like, how often does it happen that the player breaks the sternum? I mean, Jesus, that's.
Yeah. I haven't heard of that happening too often, but I was 18 years old at the time, and Roman Hamrlik is a very big man, and I was trying to be a little too courageous and a little too brave, I think, and he ended up, I ended up paying the price for it. Hey, can you stop that right now, please? Thanks.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and then you suffered you broke your foot. I think like 27 games later, if I remember correctly.
I actually played, I think it was 4 games, and I broke my sternum or something like that. 5 games, and then I played 2 games. I broke my fibula, so I broke the small bone on the outside of my leg.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so and then you were sent down to juniors, and why why do you think it took you? I don't know. For me, that sounds like it was very long to go back to the NHL again. How do you feel about it? Wasn't long in your opinion?
It did take some time because I technically, like, they couldn't just send me back right away. I had to rehab till I was healthy. So I had to get healthy before I could go back. So that took a bit of time, like my leg took about a month, maybe a month and a half to heal. So when I did go back to junior, I understood why, because I don't think I was developed as a man yet. Obviously, I was 18 years old. So I think it was a good move to come back to junior. But in my opinion, if I would have done things differently in the past, I don't think I should have went to the NHL at that young. I think I should have went over to Europe, which, Austin Matthews has done. He was one of the first players to do it. But at my age, I was too good for junior, I think, but too young to be playing in the NHL. And I think it would have been smart to come over to Europe. But it's easy to say these things after the fact and years later down the road, right?
Of course, sure. Yeah. But after that second injury, did you feel like there's some trouble in paradise already? Like that's gonna be a huge obstacle in your career from now on?
Yeah, honestly, after that second injury, I was crying. I was so sad because I knew I was going to be going back to junior immediately.
Oh shit! Jesus, I mean, right from the NHL. I mean, wow, that you must have been crushed.
I was, and obviously I was in a lot of pain too. So
yeah, sure. Yeah. Do you still feel the aftermath of those injuries, or not? They're just completely healed right now.
Oh, they completely healed years ago. I mean, I've had many more injuries since then. So
yeah, sure. Yeah. All right. So then you were traded to the Oilers, and I think that was like, I don't know, one of the bad things that happened to you, and that's just my opinion, of course, that because, for example, you were playing under Coach Hitchcock, who, as we all know, was not really good with the young guys.
Absolutely not.
What?
Absolutely not. He was pretty much one of the worst coaches for me personally as a hockey player. I think he had a very negative and long-lasting effect on my career.
And what was the most the most negative effect? What was the worst part of being coached by Ken Hitchcock?
Honestly, after playing for him for a couple of years, I didn't even want to play hockey anymore. That's how depressed I was. Oh yeah, I was depressed. I was sad. He was very negative with me. He was putting me down all the time. He didn't treat me like a human being, and he really treated me like a piece of shit, honestly. And I was fucking 19 years old.
Oh,
18,
shit.
19 years old. This is hard when you grow up watching this guy on TV and you think he's this legend and wins Stanley Cups, and then I had to deal with him personally, and it was a huge pain in my ass.
But what was he like that only with you as a young hockey player, or just in general with the youngsters on your team at the time?
I think he was pretty harsh on me, but I've known guys that have played for him in the past, and he has that reputation with young players, right?
Yeah. So he's like John Tortorella of the past, maybe.
Let's say, I can agree with that.
Have you been observing that situation, that Laine Dubois situation?
Just the last couple of days, I've seen a bit about it, and I was actually kind of shocked that he's doing that to one of the best pure goal scorers in the NHL. I can't believe it.
And he's benched like immediately, and he was benched before Dubois even hit the ice in Winnipeg. So
yeah, I don't know what he's thinking, but a lot of those coaches, they're all about control and controlling guys, and sometimes they play these mind games with guys, and it doesn't always work out for the best.
Sure, because the thing that struck me about you in Edmonton, that it was really strange for me that you were always described as a future like natural goal scorer and stuff, and sometimes were referred to as power forward, but usually as a goal scorer. And the thing that struck me is that why the hell is a future goal scorer playing bottom six?
Yeah.
That made very little sense, and then they kept complaining that you're not scoring enough, and how the fuck are you supposed to score when you're on the fourth line? That's
pretty much the story of most of my career in the NHL, and the one season that I did, Pat Quinn was a good friend of mine who ended up being the coach of the Oilers when I got my chance, and I had my best season under Pat Quinn in the NHL. And after that, they brought in their first round draft picks, Hall and Eberle and these guys, and I just kind of went back to the bottom six again, and it was really tough for me.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, by the way, do you think for you personally, it's better to play third or fourth line in NHL or a first line in AHL? What's your opinion on that?
That's a good question. I think it depends on the
when it comes to money, the answer is obvious, but I mean, career-wise,
for me, I think it's like certain players at their certain development stages could possibly benefit from being on a first or second line in the American League. So they get to play more, they get used to the speed of a different game. Because if you're sitting on the fourth line, sometimes you're playing. I've been there. I played 5-8 minutes a night, and they're like, "How come you're not getting points?" I'm like, "Well, I had 2 shifts this period, so what am I supposed to do? It's the NHL,
Mm-hmm. So I've been always wondering, like when you as a guy, as for example, a third or fourth liner, you get like 5-7 minutes.
Yeah.
What the hell goes through your mind for the rest of the time when you're literally just sitting on the bench? And I understand that, I don't know, for example, Brendan Lemieux or Sean Avery, for example, that was normal for them. But for you, as a guy that, you were a pretty ambitious guy, you wanted to score goals and stuff, what's going through your mind when you're actually sitting and just, sometimes you're basically watching the game with the rest of us, so...
Yeah, it's very hard. You're wanting to support your teammates as much as possible, and you're trying to be positive. But it gets to a point where you're kind of just like, hey, like what the hell's going on here, and how can I change this? And that's one of the reasons I asked to be traded out of Columbus to Edmonton, and they traded me there, and then they ended up putting me in the American Hockey League after playing 3 years in the NHL. So that was another pretty hard step back for me.
I think I read somewhere that you were promised that you wouldn't be sent down anytime soon after coming to Edmonton. Was that true?
I don't recall that. I don't remember that, but it was either way. It was tough for me to deal with, but I dealt with it, and I just tried to do the best I could in the situation I was put in.
Sure. Okay, as a Coyotes fan, I remember you as a guy that wanted to score goals and really contribute to the team and stuff, but I think not many of us, at least not here in Poland, remember you as one tough customer. You really could fight, which really, at some point, that was really like surprising. I mean, wow, this guy also fights. And then I saw your junior stats, and all right, that makes sense now. But I remember there was this. Well, I don't remember, but I checked that, and that was November 5, 2010. You were playing the Red Wings, and first you basically destroy Filippola, and you break his wrists, and soon after that you crush Dacjuk.
Yeah.
And at the exact same spot. I mean, was that hunting or? What was that?
Well, obviously, as you know, I like to play a physical game. I like to hit guys. I enjoy hitting guys. That's part of my game. So if I can line a guy up like that, I don't really care who it is. I'm going to try and go right through him. And I ended up having a fight after that with one of the defensemen. I can't remember his name for the Red Wings, but it was kind of not a great fight, but I understand what he's doing. He's standing up for Dacjuk. He's one of their best players. So
yeah, isn't like a part of the code that like you actually don't hit the guys like Dacjuk, like the small guys or like the skilled guys, or you just don't give a shit? No?
Well, I think guys do have a respect for guys that are the top players, and they kind of give them a little bit of a longer leash. But for me, I don't really care who it is, honestly.
Well, by the way, when we had 2010 to 2012, there are still guys called the enforcers, right? You still had those guys. Do you think that it's a good thing that their role is diminished and that they're basically vanished from the face of the earth now? Is it good or is it a bad thing, in your opinion?
I kind of have two sides to that because, you can see the game's changing quite a bit. It's a little bit of a more faster-paced, freewheeling kind of, skating game with skill guys. And I enjoy that too because it's great to see guys that are super fast, super skilled, score some nice goals. But on the other end, I do like hitting. Like I said, I do enjoy watching the odd fight here and there. But I think hockey should still be allowed fighting. It's just kind of getting phased out a little. I think when you had the enforcers back in the day, it keeps guys that want to run around in check, and they think twice about, hey, maybe I shouldn't, run this guy over. But I love, back in the day, I used to watch the Don Cherry Rock'em Sock'em videos. I had a bunch of them as a kid, so I grew up watching that stuff. So that no wonder I like to play, like that. So.
Sure. I remember I spent hundreds of hours watching Keith Kachuk, just crushing people, just hurting people. I mean, and he's he's my absolute idol, and I love watching his kids like Brady and Matthew, and those guys are also awesome and also pretty crazy.
Yeah, they play a hard game, but they can score too, and I love guys like that. Wendell Clark back in the day, he can score goals and he can fight. He was a really tough son of a bitch. He was really tough. Oh yeah.
I think the only thing I miss is more aggressive goalies. I miss Ron Hextall. I mean, you played with Mike Smith, so aggressive goalies.
Yeah,
but
sure.
I miss guys like Smith, like Hextall. Those guys really could really put on the show, right?
Yeah, they're pretty entertaining to watch for sure.
All right. So let's move on to the Coyotes, because you were picked up from waivers by Phoenix. Yeah. And how did you feel about going to Arizona? Because I'm a Coyotes fan, but I know at some point Claude Lemieux said that the hockey market in Arizona is pretty much like hockey market in China, which is ironic when you talk because I'm talking to you and you played in Kunlun, right? So So what do you think about it? How did you feel about it at the time?
Yeah, it was a bit different. It was a little bit of an adjustment because obviously in the NHL there's some few smaller markets, and that's understandable in some, especially obviously not in Canada. Canada's like our sport, right?
Yeah,
that's our sport. People love hockey in Canada. In the U.S., in some places it's not so big, so I understand that. But when we went to the Western Conference Finals that year, I mean, the fans were amazing there. We had a complete whiteout at the rink. It was sold out. It was unbelievable. So it has the potential to be good. It's just during some regular season games, it's not as many fans.
Yeah, that's true. I remember my mother's friend. She's an older lady. She moved to Canada, and then she went back after 4 or 5 years later, I believe. And then I could talk with I talked to this 70-year-old Polish lady about Mats Sandin last game. So
Oh wow,
that was pretty crazy. But when it comes to going through waivers, because I heard a lot of bad stuff. Like for example, Todd Simpson. I remember that he admitted that he takes this real personally. That really hurts him every time he is on the waivers. So how did you feel about it? Because obviously, well, you're not on the waivers if you're exactly the most needed player, right? Sorry for putting it like that, but
yeah.
But I guess I'm trying to ask you what's going through your mind. How do you handle stuff like this?
I was, with the Oilers, I was kind of going up between the NHL and the American Hockey League with at the time, the Oklahoma City Barons. So to get the call to be picked up on waivers by Phoenix, I was super excited, honestly. I was just couldn't wait to get back to the NHL, prove myself again, have a chance to play. And, I knew a few guys that were already on the team, like Kyle Chipchura. We played junior against and, with each other on many different occasions. So I was super positive about it. And, Phoenix is a beautiful place. I mean, it's 35 degrees there, 30 degrees in January. So, I mean, it's pretty nice wearing shorts and sandals to the rink every day.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember, we had this Polish Islanders forward, Mariusz Czerkawski. I don't know if you're familiar with the name.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, so Czerkawski, he almost got traded to the Coyotes for Keith Kachuk, and he said to me, it will be pretty cool because I could, play golf all year. I wish I was traded to Phoenix or Florida or Tampa.
Yeah. one of the games actually in Phoenix. You know, Alice Cooper lives down in Phoenix, and he's a huge, he's a big golfer, hockey fan, and we got to meet Alice Cooper, which I love Alice Cooper, so we got to do stuff with that. That was pretty awesome.
It was pretty awesome, and you have a thing for meeting famous rock guys, right?
I do, apparently, yeah.
But yeah, when you joined the Coyotes, you were part of the best run in their mostly sad history. Let's put it like this. Yeah. And why do you think the Coyotes managed to go so far that season? And apart from Mike Smith being fucking inhuman.
Okay, well that's right there. You answered your own question. Mike Smith was a huge reason. Like, this guy was standing on his head every game. I've never seen a guy work so hard and be so dehydrated after games in my life. Like, it was incredible what he did for us that year. And obviously, we're part of a team. There was a lot more to it, but he was just out of this world, like lights out the whole season, and he really deserved a lot of credit for that. But we scored some timely goals, and we managed to work and play well within our coaching system, which was great. So, I mean, it was a great run. That's the farthest I've been in the playoffs and in the NHL, and I think those were my only playoff games in the NHL. So,
I think I remember watching that, and as you know, like, the Coyotes games was like Polish time. That was probably like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. So this is the time I watch Coyotes games. So I remember that one in the conference finals, and like I would wake up like 3 a.m. Fuck it, I'm screaming. No one's sleeping tonight. Fuck it.
That's awesome.
That was crazy. But speaking of Mike Smith, I heard a lot of bad stuff about him. Like, he really can be a buzzkill. And is it true? Like, it's really a tough character to handle in the locker room?
He definitely has a very strong personality. I'll say that much. He likes things his way, and he likes to do what he can in his own manner of speaking. Like, he's a very good hockey player, a very good goaltender. But I think sometimes when they get a little bit of fame and fortune, it changes some people a bit, obviously. And I try to, personally, I try to stay as grounded as I can and try to treat everyone around me with as much respect as I can. So that's how I was raised. But like I said, sometimes people change, and I guess that's life. There's good and bad people out there, no matter what you're doing.
That was a pretty cool way to say, like, yeah, he was an asshole sometimes. That's pretty sweet of you, yeah. So, sticking to the Coyotes for a moment, is Paul Bissonnette as cool as everyone says? The guy's motherfucking he's like everywhere, because I love the Spit and Chicklets. I love the show, and the guy's basically everywhere. And I remember when he introduced himself, he always say Paul Bissonnette, left bench, Phoenix Coyotes. So
well, I played with both him and Ryan Whitney, who do Spit and Chicklets, right? So
right.
It was pretty funny, actually. When I first signed with Phoenix and got picked up off waivers, he was actually my roommate when I first got there when he went on the road. And oh my god, like, honestly, probably one of the worst roommates I've ever had.
Worse? Why? Give me some stories. I mean, come on, man.
I'll just say he was kind of pretty inconsiderate, honestly. Like, during the playoffs when we were doing our runs, and didn't want to get his own room because he was too cheap or something. I don't know. So he was keeping me awake at night, and I had to play in the playoffs the next day. And I'm like, "What are you doing, bud?" So.
Oh, good. All right, so that was really left bench. Okay? That explains it all. So okay, I'm not gonna torture you with like, I'm not gonna ask you to tell the Bono and U2 story again, because you've done that so many times that makes no sense. Long story short, you picked up a guy, a hitchhiker, and it happened to be Bono from U2, right? And that's pretty much. And if I remember correctly, your girlfriend at the time, she wasn't really happy about it, blah blah blah. But my question about this is, did you actually go to that concert?
Of course I did, yeah.
You did?
I got passes from Bono and his assistant, so this is when I was playing for the Oilers, so I still had a place. I had my apartment in Edmonton.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom, who also is a huge U2 fan, we all flew out to Edmonton the next day and went to the show that night, and it was awesome. We basically spent the day in Edmonton, slept the night, and then flew home the next day. And it's a pretty short flight from Vancouver, so.
He thanked you from the stage, right?
Yeah, he did. It's on YouTube. You can watch it.
Yeah, I did. Wow, that was like, wow, that was awesome. Jeez.
I was blown away too. I couldn't believe it. I didn't expect that at all.
I think I actually heard about it in Polish radio. So imagine, like, you were actually on Polish radio. I mean, it's like, Jesus, it's like, I don't know, it's like ice hockey in Africa, basically. So. All right, yeah, that was pretty cool. And my second question, by the way, you said that was the first and the last time you're ever gonna pick someone up, pick up like a hitchhiker. So why is that? I mean, was he like a rude? Did he? I don't know.
I don't think I ever said that.
I've
picking up hitchhikers since then, and
all right. Yeah. So there was this. I think the host of the show, the speaker, whatever. I mean, the host probably said that. Someone did say that. I was like wondering what the fuck did Bona do to you?
No, he was awesome. Honestly, he was super nice, very down to earth, and like they were great. And I'll tell you a cool story.
Mm-hmm.
Was it 2 years ago? I think we went to the Joshua Tree tour in Vancouver, and they're the ones that called us as assistant and offered us tickets to come see them, and that was just incredible. Like, I did not expect that at all, and they're so nice that they kept us in mind, and we were able to go to another one of their shows for free, and
nice.
It was amazing. Like, they're super nice, really nice guys.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So okay, you had to face some question about that, but at least I didn't ask you to like tell the whole story again.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So you also spent some time in KHL, and we heard hundreds of really weird stories about that league, about stuff going on there. Like, I think the weirdest shit was like that sacrificing a goat.
Yeah, I heard about that.
In the crease?
In Kazan, yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, and I remember like there were some Canadians or American players who actually threw up on the bench.
Yeah, I heard those rumors too. I've never seen that, but that's crazy. I don't know why you need to do that.
All right, but you played in Kunlun. I mean, there had to be something weird going on there. I mean, that's hockey in China, man. I mean.
Yeah, it was a great experience, honestly. There was obviously a lot of weird stuff we saw, and the culture change was we had to get used to. But overall, it was a really wonderful experience, and I got to eat some really weird stuff there. So it was kind of adventurous and fun for me. So.
All right. Did you know all the stuff that you were gonna eat, or?
Oh yeah, I did. I mean, there's a couple things that I thought were going to be different that weren't exactly what they came out as, but
Yeah, geez, I always my American friend told me that he went to China, and he said like something that he had something to eat. He said something like that looks like they made it out of my grandma or something. So
oh my god.
Yeah, that's like, there's some weird shit going on in China from what I know. I've never been there, but are really KHL preparations, like training camps and stuff, are they really that much harder than NHL, for example?
Honestly, yeah. Like, I can tell you honestly, that's very true. Like, they do like usually a month to 2 months of really tough training camps, and you're literally working out and skating almost all day from breakfast to dinner, and a little break in between for lunch and a rest. But they don't give you many days off, and it's tough, man. Like, a lot of guys get hurt during training camp, which is a shame, because why are you trying to hurt guys before the season even starts?
Mm-hmm. So, isn't it too much? Like, I mean, the league's definitely not as good as NHL, so maybe that's one of the, I don't know, reasons why. What do you think?
I think that's just their mentality and the way they've done things for so long, and they have a very old school mentality that way, and that's just how they do things, especially on the Russian teams. Like for China, we had some North American coaches, so it was a little bit different. It wasn't so bad, so a little bit better.
Yeah, sure. And by the way, you played in Zagreb, right?
Yeah.
So that's weird. But it's like, okay, that's also KHL. So what can you tell me about the hockey fan base in Zagreb? How do you play hockey in Croatia? I mean, because that sounds like, well, playing hockey in Poland. So.
Well, yeah, honestly, I can tell you that it was one of the best places I played in the KHL. I mean, the fans were great there. I mean,
Seriously?
we didn't have the best rink, and we didn't always have, thousands of fans, but the fans that were there were awesome, very supportive, and I really like Zagreb in Croatia. Zagreb is a city in the country of Croatia, and I actually met my wife there.
Oh, nice. So, but the rink, it actually looks like, I don't know, like the Coyotes training ice, right? Or something. It's like pretty small.
Yeah, the Dom Sportova wasn't the best rink I've ever been to, but we had a pretty good group of guys there, with mostly North American team, and it was fun. We had a good time, and when you're grinding it out on the road in Russia, sometimes it was nice to come back to a city like Zagreb and kind of lay back and relax a bit. It was really nice.
Sure. I want to ask you some, I don't know, more of personal questions, if that's okay with you. And I'm just gonna ask you about stuff that you actually said in interviews or whatever, because I don't want to go into any kind of, I don't know, speculations, whatever, because that's let's leave that to USA Today, okay? But I read someone, and correct me if you didn't say that, but I believe in one of the interviews you said that part of the reason that your NHL career went a little sideways were because of your father.
Mm-hmm. Well,
because I remember you played with Patrick O'Sullivan, right? And he actually he was pretty much open. He was pretty open about what happened to him as a kid, right? And from what if I remember correctly, his father was a really piece of, So.
Yeah. For me, me and my dad have always had a pretty good relationship, and then when I turned pro and started making money, things kind of went sideways and went different, and he was taking advantage of me quite a bit, actually, and on top of dealing with him and then dealing with, all the shit they deal with in the NHL and not playing and all the stuff of going up and down from the American League to the NHL, it was weighing pretty heavy on me mentally, and I was just in a bad place, let's say that. I wasn't thinking straight. I wasn't my normal self, and I was honestly I was depressed, honestly, and I went through some depression stuff, and it was a really hard couple of years for me, that's for sure.
Sure. Yeah, and to think there are parents like, I don't know, Jack Johnson's, right? When the guy's playing the NHL for 7 or 8 seasons, the guy's practically broke, right? Yeah. Being a millionaire and he's broke because his parents, oh God, that's things that happen to people. Jesus. All right, and my last question is, and please be super honest about it. Why the fuck did you come to play in Poland? And be super fucking honest. Don't give me that shit hey, I always dreamt to play in Poland. No, you didn't. You didn't know there's hockey here, man. So.
Why do you think Poland's so bad?
No, the live streaming Poland this bad. So. But seriously, why is it COVID related, or because the situation in the world? Why not Kunlun?
Well, I got bought out by Kunlun this last summer, so I didn't want to go back. I didn't want to go back there, and they didn't want me back there, so we mutually parted ways, and they gave me a percentage, my buyout, and I was done with them, and I was happy to be done with them because I didn't want to go back to a team that was run the way they ran that team. It was just a mess there, and you can see what happened this year. They were having big problems again. So
you mean losing game after game after game and stuff? So
yeah, because of the decisions that their management made. They fired some of the best players that they had, and this is what you get when you pay for cheap players. You end up in last place.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, why Poland?
Like I said, I like to travel. I like Europe. I wanted to see a new place, and obviously, Victor Bartley's one of my teammates, and we've been talking, all summer about, this kind of stuff. And he signed here before I did, and we started talking. he got me to come here in a way, and obviously it was my decision to come in the end, but, me and him are good friends and business partners as well, so it was nice to come here and spend some time with him, and we get to, talk a bit and become even closer, so that's one of the big reasons that I came.
Wow, all right. That all right, that's convincing. Okay, I was really ready for an explanation, like, I love Poland and my grandfather was actually from Warsaw and blah blah blah. Yeah, because Brule is like super fucking Polish name, right? So that's short. That's of course that's short for Brulewski, right? So
yeah. Okay.
All right, so I think that would be all. I really didn't want to bore you with questions that you've been asked so many times. I hope you enjoyed this at least a little bit.
Yeah, I did. You made me laugh a few times, and you asked some funny questions, and that was good, man.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Of course. I'm gonna go have dinner now.
Sure. All the best of luck to you.
All right. Thank you very much.